Well, today is Sunday, April 28th, 2019, and it is 11 o'clock. I've been out here since about quarter to 10. Had some scrambled and toast, and that's about that. First cup of coffee. I'm going to have another cup, but that's it. And that is 50-50, by the way. I mean, as long as I have the taste of coffee and caffeine, and I'm somewhat happy. But like I said earlier, the doctor didn't say that my problem was caused by caffeine. It was just a short circuit. So it's a miserable day. Not totally miserable, but miserable. And the wife told me this morning that when I had gotten up, that apparently it's going to be raining on and off all week. So, what are you gonna do? Got to deal with it, I guess. We need the rain, I know that. We haven't had much snow, so if we don't get a little rain to fill those reservoirs, we're going to have issues for sure. Why was I walking in this direction? Oh, I know why. I took the power washer out last week, or week before, whatever, before all this problem. So the power washer has been sitting outside for about a month. In all the rain. And yesterday I went to start it up because I wanted to power wash off the Husqvarna, and it's a mess, and it's sitting out there right now as well, and it just didn't want to start. It's got fuel. I put a little starter in the carb ether, and that didn't work, so I'm thinking it's just damp from sitting out for so long. So I decided to pull it in here and let it sit for a while, so that's what it's going to do. I have heat going. I do have to go out and get the saw because I have the cover off it because I'm going to put a new bar and chain on it. But I wanted to power wash all the crap out from inside. Okay, so anyway, the battery went dead. And I took advantage of that and went out to in the yard, pick this up real quick. As you can see, it's a disaster in there as well as that. So I have a medium nozzle because I don't want to cut through everything, and enough to just get that crap off there. And I'll go through the whole thing, and I'll check the plug. I did have this running. I think I started them both up, I don't know, end of February maybe, just to make sure they were going to run, and they did. So it's not like it's been sitting for a long time. However, it has been sitting, so I got to get that power washed. But I figure I'll let this sit in here for a few minutes. I may get the heat gun. Oh, speaking of heat gun, I got to remember, I got to adjust my glasses, so I gotta get the heat gun while I'm here. I usually glasses. All right, yeah. Let's change the subject. Why don't we? I like the full wire frame glasses with a double nose bridge with an adjustable nose rest, if that's what you want to call it. I'm trying to give myself some room here so I don't cripple myself. The problem being is I'm a little stretchy here. Hold on. There we go. I'm a little rough on glasses because I fall asleep with them on. I mean, that's all there is to it. I don't need them for anything other than reading, up close work, stuff like that. But they're on your face, you forget about them, and that's what happens. And the frames, the metal frames with those little metal screws that connect these things, with those little screws in there and things, they're always breaking, losing them, everything. So I started going with more of a plastic type. Well, with the plastic type, you really can't adjust them unless you heat them. You know, and because I had my nose broke, that was a good day actually. That was a nice day. I don't want to sound like an asshole, but you know, you like a good adrenaline rush every now and then. But meanwhile, let me drop things. You got to use this in order to make any adjustments. And like I said, with my nose being kind of tilted, it kind of throws my glasses off. So that's it. Now I just ordered new ones, so they should be in sometime. Oh, that reminds me, I gotta buy another pair. I ordered new ones last week, and those should be in probably this coming week. But I gotta order another pair of Ray-Bans that I want. So I went to the eyeglass place, the doctor, and I gave him the script. And with the plan that we have now, still until the end of April, it covers glasses with frames. But they only give you like 100 frames to work with. And I'm kind of picky when it comes to frames. If you look at one of my older videos, you'll see what I mean. So I went over there and I said, listen, I just need a pair of frames. One, I wanted to get it done before the insurance ran out. Because I didn't know what our new insurance was actually going to offer, what program we were going to take, or whatever. But meanwhile, I'll get into that shortly. So I just picked something off the shelf that fit. You know, I said, because you know why? I can always use those out here, you know, if I need to. So, like for instance, I got a nice set of frames. I wear trifocals. Now, why I do that, I don't like the progressives. I wear trifocals because I don't need them for anything other than basically reading. But I got used to the trifocals because when I was on the boat, anything that was down here a little bit was just a little off to me because the reading glasses are more for here. So I had to make me a trifocal so that I had my reading glasses, and yet if I was standing here looking at the instrument panel, you know, and the GPSs, the chart plotters and all that kind of stuff, I was able to see that just as clear. And then for just normal viewing, I look over. So with the trifocal and the, what do they call it, where they change, you know what I mean, from light to dark, I can't remember the transitions. So the frame, the trifocals, the transitions cost me 20 bucks. Yeah, you can't beat that. But now that we are set up with our other program starting the 1st, I can now go for another pair. And what I want to get is, I didn't write it down, I actually took a picture of it so I can get the numbers off it, and I also put them on and I did a selfie. My first selfie, because I wanted to see how I looked in them, you know, as well, you know, not looking in a mirror, but looking at myself with them to see how they actually looked. So I took a selfie. Oh, and I wanted my wife to see them on me as well. So that was that. So I've got to get on Glasses USA to see if they have these particular frames that I want made by U-Band. They are a full wire frame, but I had purchased U-Bands once before, and I got almost 4 years out of the frames. So, you know, and because I won't be sleeping with them, you know, they'll definitely last me. So, and that's where we're at. So I got to look for a set of glasses. Once I find them, I'll come back to you guys. But meanwhile, I don't want to keep you guys too long. I want to try to start keeping them short a little bit, you know, even if I have to do more. But I have a lot to BS about, in my opinion. So what the hell, or heck, there you go, what the heck. We'll see what happens. All right, guys, let me adjust my glass. You know what? When I go to adjust those, I will turn on the camera, and I will have some recording done. I'll be back. I'm sorry guys, I adjusted them without even thinking about it. I just did it. You want to heat it up. You don't want to get it too close. Take your time. Don't heat them up too fast or you'll start to melt the plastic. You want to keep the heat away from the frame, the lenses, because the lenses in most cases are also plastic. So you want to make sure that the hot air is blowing away from the plastic. And then you kind of just adjust from there, taking your time. You got to take your time. You know, for instance, if this is the front, can I see here? Let me see. No, you really can't. But if this was the front, you know, you hold it out there and you kind of just, you know, put your pressure on it and kind of just work it back and forth, get it out of there. Work it back and forth, get it out of there. Let it cool for a second. You know, that type of thing. And like I say, just get it done. And try to keep the lenses, don't work it this way where the lenses are facing in. Work it so that the lenses are kind of like behind the heat gun if you can. So, another thing I do, believe it or not, because one eye is a little different than the other eye, I see them up here. Right here. I go to the dollar store and I pick up some of the dollar lenses, the glasses. And I look at them to see if in fact they are set so that I can get the lenses out if I have to. And I put on the glass and I cover one eye and I find what strength is good for that one eye, the eye that isn't covered. So I try on 2 or 3 pair, you know, of different strengths that they have there to get my best reading, you know, as a reading glass from about here. And then I do the same thing with the other eye. So I may end up with 2 different lenses or glasses. I'll buy a couple of pair of them because they're only $1 a piece. I come home and I swap the lenses out. So one lens is good for the one eye, the other lens is good for the other eye. You know, you're basically making your own prescription. Now, if you have something to where, you know, it has to be changed all the time, you need trifocals like myself, well, then I can't do that because they're always changing, and I don't need them for just normal. So I can't wear those all the time. But I also do that. It's a cheap way of getting around it. If, in fact, you can, you know, find what you're looking for at the distance that you're looking for, in frames that will be easy to pop the lenses in and out of to get started. So I do that occasionally as well, because I wreck glasses out here, especially if I'm using the buffer. You know, sometimes I remember to put on the safety glasses, sometimes I don't. You know, then the next thing you know, they're getting scratched and, you know, chemicals on them and everything else. So, all right, I'm going to take a break. I will be right back.